Good morning, everyone. It is approximately 20 after 6 a.m. EST here on the East Coast of the U.S. Oops, sorry. Didn't have my mic on. Good morning, everyone. It is approximately 6:20 a.m. EST here on the East Coast of the U.S. Coming to you live and direct from the off-grid farm. And we are certainly on the chain. So, as the title states, status of the game and its influencers. Of course, you guys know that many influencers are dialing back, and the most populous one has determined that War Robots is no longer worth streaming due to the status of the game. So let's just hop right into it. Alright, here's my current hangar and what I'm currently doing. But the fact of the matter is that some years back we asked them. See, this was the way that things are now. Was the way that War Robots was stepped up to after the first switch of ownership, and so the whole community gathered together and asked them to slow down the releases and stuff like that, and stop releasing certain overpowered gear, and they agreed to it. Matter of fact, a full new updates and rebalances only happened every 6 months. Other than that, we just had our events for every holiday around the world, and things like that. And we had our weekly skirmishes when they came out with that. So that's all we had as far as the new content. That gave them enough time to test the content for more than a month before releasing it, and the releases were more balanced that way, and there were less bugs and artifacts. The status of the game is that to retain people, they're gonna have to slow that down instead of trying to milk the cow. If you milk a cow too much, you're gonna milk it dry. So you milk some of it, and then the cow reproduces milk, and then you milk it more. That's how it goes, and that's what the player base even asks for. Now, you want to know the real issues which make people quit? For all these years, they have never fixed hacking. They have never fixed certain bugs. And then they balance stuff out. Matter of fact, anything that's freshly released should not have a legendary pilot yet, or SE, because you can base the legendary pilot on how it performs in game off of other pilots, then decide whether that bot deserves, or what the skill that the legendary pilot should have, or whatever. If something's brand new, how do you have somebody legendary in it? If you just built something, how is there already a special edition of it? It doesn't make sense, and it does bad releases for the gameplay of the game. So that's just something I want to say. So we'll just go through my hangar and see what I'm actually doing here. We'll go hit the Titan first here. We got the Oxminos with Lunar Squall and Stellar Evora. Of course, these two balance each other out, give you two different styles of play. Of course, you can't play the one style harder than the other, simply because you're not running full physical shotguns, and you're not running full sonic shotguns, which have two different types of reloads, two different types of clip styles. It just makes you more versatile. And as far as the modules, we are running a self-fix unit, anti-control, and 2 onslaughts. Coming in with my Arnet Blitz. Of course, I got the Cyphoses, and off the Cyphos, I'm running Cudgel. You guys know I love mixed explosive weapons. This has had a great result, as the Cyphos is very accurate, even up to its limited the end of its range, and it does have that cycled reload. The Cudgels are more powerful, but you have to be really close. But they're also excellent at taking down shields, which the Cyphos is not. But the whole while they're still explosive. You guys know that I will run the explosive rockets with the explosive shotguns. As long as the weapon is explosive, I believe they can be mixed with other explosive weapons, unless you're running a special pilot like say Eddie Knoll. Then you want to keep it all shotgun and stuff like that, and get your shot grouping. As far as the mods, we are running nuclear amp, immune amp, repair amp. Coming to the mender. This is my battle mender because we're running 2 needles and a havoc. Of course, needless to say, the shielding does help for the mender, and but due to the limited range of the weapons, you're gonna be in close. So this is the brawler support right here with this kind of setup. Instead of having guys in the background, you have anti-control because you're gonna be in closer contact with more people with a brawler setup. And you got the nitro so that you can keep up with the faster brawlers, and the immune amplifier. Stepping over to the cryptic Fenrir. Thing about it is Fenrir is the fastest tank out there, period. But the moment you don't have defenses, so you either have an Aegis up with no defenses, but to make up for that, so the moment you use Bernadette Wolf to make the tank even tankier, you lose your Aegis. And the thing about it is, regardless if you're using Bernadette or not, the moment you start using your heavy, you go in defensive mode, but you're really slow. So to still be in defensive mode, still reach out and touch someone that's far away without having to exit your defensive mode when you're exposed. I'm running hazards there. The mods are a balance unit, repair unit, and immune amp. Now something that moves a little faster that already has an Aegis, but you can increase the Aegis. And it has the body wrap Aegis, so it's real hard to penetrate this Aegis here just by splashing or anything like that. Also, it's a fairly tough Aegis at 36,000. We are running a lot of people like try to get in close. This is brawling, so we're running a brawling drone on it with the barrel. And the mods are the fortifier, which fortifies both the weapons and the inbuilt Aegis, thermonuclear reactor, and battleborn for anybody penetrating it. It increases your defenses and so forth. Also, the Duncan pilot will do that too when someone finally penetrates your shield, but I'm using the damage pilot instead. And this, of course, is a classic with the Magnetar setup on the Kepri. This has always been a range classic for this. And the mods, we are running a 2 BUs and a repair amp. The only thing that has changed with that setup is that instead of using like Nian, the damage pilot, we're using Misaki for all the immune stuff, and then we're running the Kestrel. Now take a look at my second hanger. We'll start in with the Indra. The Indra Vajra Mahavajra is a classic setup, of course, because it came in with that. And of course, I put my Yang Li on it because this is one of my favorite setups. When I finally got it, it took me forever to get an Indra. So we got Heavyweight Battler, Wonder Worker, and Scout for the skills for this. And the modules we are running on the Indra is the Titan Accelerator to get those shotguns in closer sooner, plus to use the lasso, a Grand Balance Reactor, Onslaught Reactor, and a Titan Repair Amplifier. Coming in with one of our defenders, which is also good because it has time enough to charge up during this flight. Pretty much any weapons because this flight is so long. And being as though it has the suppression gun shooting, the drone will also shoot the Sting. And the modules we are running on this is good against pretty much all Titans because the rockets can hit them. We're running Last Stand, Immune Amp, and Repair Amp. And of course, you guys saw that special. I wanted to make this tank. Someone, was complaining about it. So we got the Arachnid Evader with Eddie Knoll, with shot grouping on both the cudgel and the mace. Tough guy. All the little goodies, 2 balance unit and an immune amp. Coming back to a classic, the Techno Scorpion, Running it with Sonics has always been a favorite because you're far away. You got time before somebody gets to you to allow those to charge up, and then you could teleport behind them with a fully loaded clip, then retreat again. And also, we're running that with the whiteout drone, which was real favorite of people's to do when the Scorpion would teleport on them, they'd start using their skills. So the whiteout is a good mate for that. And the modules we're running double nuclear amp and one immune amplifier. Being as though these are not, even though they're continuous reload, they're not sustainable fire. It's the same as like rockets that are continuous to reload. They start pew pew pewing at the end. So you want the double nuclear amp to stack up while you are discharging your weapons. Because of that, because you need to sit back and let your weapons charge up again before you start firing. Here we're going with the Freedom Avalanche and the Quarkers, pretty much just taking down shields with this before we get shot at, and then you use the Hawk Beam, okay, which is pretty strong against Titans. Also reflects anything except for the new Reaper guns. The Quarkers are really great at taking down shields, and also the Avalanche is good for hitting armored bots. So the modules we're running on that is Nuclear Amp, Repair Amp, and a Last Stand. And going to another offensive or defensive bot, because the emoji itself gets 5% more damage every time. Offensive pilot for this as well. But I try to stop trying to use this in close engagement. I've tried different builds. I'm just not good at doing it. There are people that do it. We got the +5 skin on there. We have a shield bot too. If somebody happens to catch me in the air and stealth. But we do have the healing pilot, which increases the survivability by a lot. So with the Master Gunsmith and the inbuilt 5% damage, I mean, it doesn't put out as much damage as the damage pilot. I have her too. The thing about it is that gives us 10% more damage, and of course the corrosion does the rest, and those are the direct damage physical corrosion weapons. Probably the best combination of weapons you can get like that, because most corrosion weapons are really weak on the direct damage. And besides her landing right for 10 seconds, she heals anything that's in this healing radius, and it gives you more defense points for a short period of time. She heals then, and Wonderwork, she heals as she takes off. So good exchange overall between offense and defense. And with the stealth, with the hiding and stuff, playing like a medium role instead of either being too far back for support or too close like you're brawling to support anybody. So not bad. Last hanger but not least, thanks for showing up, Terra Road. I know you'll be on pretty soon here, so I'll try to make things short sweet, but I'm trying to do a longer one. The Nodin, since being repaired, is back in. I just put this back in yesterday, and I'm not worried about the blindies, because if I get blinded, Pentagruel still hits anything blindly. Also, my constantly firing lances on here, and the long arm reach of the Nodin's heal. Okay, as far as the Nodin himself getting attacked, he's running self-fix unit, onslaught, and double anti-control, because that's what people like to do. They like to lock the Nodins down somewhere, being as though it's already slow, hard to get to cover, and then its heal reaches so far. They like to lock the Nodins down and stuff and block his skills. With the double max anti-control, you don't have to worry about that. You can always send heals out, and then if you're running a self-fix unit and Pentagruels. This is always helpful when people attack your Nodins directly, and let that be a note. As far as the hanger go, we will see here that we have a Basil Lapate with the damage drone. Even though he's an out in the open guy, I mean, the damage drone is full-time damage. Basil Lapate is full-time damage on any 10% on any weapon with 800 meters or greater. And then we also have Gunsmith Plaza, which gives 3.2. Master Gunsmith, which gives 4.2. And also we have the mechanic skill on here, because the Behemoth is a big target. Even though you're shooting at range, someone else could be shooting at range. So even the module is advanced repair. We're running double overdrive unit, that's 50% more damage on top of the other damage, and a balance unit, which gives us 9% more durability on here. You know, the tank, and 8% additional damage off the top. So not a bad long range sniper, just not that maneuverable. And so I do have a second mid to long range sniper, and we'll hop to that in a minute. But being as though the meter can hop all over the map up to 500 meters, he can hop from cover to cover instead of exposing himself, because to go from healing one person over to the other, but to maximize its damage, we are running the Dal Taki with the Yojis. And believe it or not, I didn't really ever think of this setup, because I thought of bots that were more tanky, that could stand out there and shoot them lasers forever and whatnot. This is actually a very good setup, very amazing. And then with him leaping around, next time he's firing from a different angle. And you were like, I swore the guy with the lightsabers was over here, but now he's over here. Or how many people they got with them? So it's really confusing for people, and it's really surprisingly. So we have a nitro unit, a nuclear amplifier, and a repair amp. Now to go to my favorite build, we also have the Gauss Crisis. Instead of Reaper Crisis, we have a Gauss Crisis. That way I have less exposure, even though they have more range with the Reapers. I have less exposures with the Gauss because I don't have to fire out the clip. That is a good thing, but the negative part is if there's too much lag, or I misjudge the firing, or armor or something weird pops up, or they just get into cover, I don't have those second and you know, the other like 4 shots to try to make up for it. So it's very fun, but like it's not forgiving. You have to use more skill than with Reapers with the Gauss, and they do not go through reflectors or force fields. That's something to remember, because there's times I see the hit register, it's no lag, no nothing, but I only like take down the force field. So sometimes when I realize, once I hit them once and I realize they have force field, you only hit them again when they got someone else attacking them, because you don't want to have to keep taking down force fields and not registering any damage. But also, with that being said, we don't have that. We have the 10% Basil Pate. We do have the Gunsmith Gauss, which gives 3.2. We have the Power Man, which helps it charge faster, which will increase your DPM. Okay, this is already a high DPS setup, especially with the Master Gunsmith Crisis. That's another 5%. And Crisis is fairly fast, but it's not the fastest because it's walking style. Anything that normal walking style decrease from what it says its registered thing is, like all spider bots decrease from what it says the regular speed is. So sometimes even on those bots, the rated skill will be high, but the actual movement in game is low. So same thing with the Crisis, being as though it has those backward legs. Its rated speed is real good for a sniper, but the thing about it is it's actually below that in game. So Roadhog for that, and the mods we are using for that. We have a nuclear amplified thermonuclear last stand. And as we starting to round out here to the end, I am using my lock-on pilot whenever I use the Dragon Calamity, and this pilot heals more instead of flying further and faster, because she repairs 15% upon landing, also repairs 0.7 all the time, and so I have the guidance operator on this pilot, and the Master Gunsmith giving the 5% more damage. We also are running the beak here, so that somebody breaks through my little force field and whatnot, I do disappear, go stealth for a couple seconds there with that, which is always helpful for anything you put in the air. Stealth and last stand is also good for those kind of things. But being as though this is always seen, I'm running the anti-control, because the thing is to lock this until the way that you kill Seraphs in the air is to lock them until their force field runs out. So that's why I'm running the anti-control instead of the last stand, and I'm running the repair amplifier and immune amplifier. So before we get to this last setup, I'd like to give a shout out to Terra Road, Some Shade Demon, and ANZ Gaming. All of these guys have their own channels. They put out a lot of different content across a lot of different games. Hey, Duck on Quack, we passed 20 minutes, bro, when you check this out. So this is a really long stream for me, but I want you guys to go to check out their channels, right? And leave a like. But if you're really, really digging the content, then please subscribe to their channels and show your support. All right? Please check out my main man, Terror Road. Check out my main man, Some Say Demon. Check out my main man, ANZ Gaming. And of course, across the top of my banner, or wherever they put it now, because they just moved it, there are eight people who I recommend. The links to their channels are registered on my page, and 8 people that I recommend to you. So now that we made the 20-minute mark, we can now proceed to get to the newest and the weirdest build. I brought my Skiros back, y'all, and look at that. Look at that monster. I start leveling a Zenith and a Norcom yesterday, and the Hurricane, because I recently won one. And believe it or not, it's a great open map support bot, especially because I'm using the immune pilot. There are several pilots for this. The suppression pilot you would mainly want to use when you're using a brawler, like you're contesting beacons and all this stuff, and then you pop out and you want to brawl. The suppression pilot is good for that. And there's also the weapon specific pilots are good for that as well if you're running a certain type of weapon. But being as though I don't have another basil to put on here for that setup, but also you're going to be exposed more, so running the immune pilot is good. And he has mechanic, ninja, and dodger. All right, and yeah, you can use him as rear support, whether it's beacons or TDM, because it's good in the end when Titans are trying to catch up to you and you're too fast for them. You're catching beacons, but you're firing from the furthest beacon and still hitting them. And the other thing too is Skiros has the time, because it's in the ball so much, for all these weapons to reload. And that's one of the weaknesses of these. And the weakness of the Zenith and the Norcom is that they cannot direct fire under 350, whereas this one here, the moment they come under 400 meters, it will change from arc fire to direct fire. And I wish they would apply this same mechanics to the Norcom and Zenith, and it would that would be an awesome set. You would see it more. And also the one thing that the Hurricane does that the Norcom and Zenith do not is not only that it hones and becomes direct fire, but it also increases its damage when you go to direct fire by up to 45%. Okay, that's one little unknown factor there, but the real kicker is that it changes to direct fire, which is good. So even if they didn't add that 45% stuff, and the reason why I'm running a healer on this, because I'm usually rolling around other people in ball mode, or I'm behind them when I go to drop this and they're in front of me, and it's easy for the Persephone to just help out, be a teammate buddy, because you can't really a lot of people run selfish drones, well, and I would too if I was running a brawler setup, but because I'm not running a brawler setup and I'm usually hiding the Skiros or moving, changing positions where I'm dropping rockets from, this is your way of lending a hand to the team while you're in ball mode. So I hope you guys understood that. I'm glad we got a chance to do over 20 minutes. So I will check you all out there on the battlefield. You know I have no picks. And of course, ANZ Gaming, that Gauss Crisis is my favorite play. I love that. It's so fun to play, bro, that you can just sit back and do a whole match in it easy. I will catch y'all out there on the battlefield. You know I have no picks. Love, peace, happiness. Enjoy your day, everyone.